Welcome to MCG Labs. Here are your hosts, Mario and Stephen G, with Edgar Noel. Enjoy the ride.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to MCG Labs, where we discuss movies, comics, games, and so much more. My usual co-host is Mario. Obviously, he is not here today, but luckily I have our other co-host, our editor, Noel. Hi, Noel.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. How's your day going so far?
Really long. I've been up since like 6 and I didn't have work, so I try not to wake up that early when I don't have work. How about you?
I did not work, so I'm grateful for that.
Yay, we both didn't know to work today.
So, everybody, today we're going to discuss, we're going to take it back a little bit today. We're going to talk about past Disney Plus shows, and we're going to start off with WandaVision. Now,
I loved it.
Noel, when you first heard about WandaVision coming out, what was your initial thought? What did you have high expectations for it?
I honestly didn't know what to expect when I first heard about it because, Vision dies and doesn't come back and everything. So I remember there was a lot of speculation of like, it's going to take place in the 2 years between Civil War and Infinity War. Right. And I was like, oh, maybe. And then, I don't know, then the previews started coming out and it all looked like a TV show. And I was like, wait, what the heck is happening?
Right.
I didn't know what to think. The first couple episodes, I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple episodes, the first one's black and white. I'm like, is this like an I Love Lucy ripoff? What's going on? And
loved it, but at the same time, it made you go, what the hell?
Well, I mean, yeah, the whole time, like, I was just going, is this the right show? I thought I was going back to Nick at Night. I'm like, I thought we were watching, like, the Honeymooners or something like that, which is what she was basing off the whole, her world off of.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the first couple of episodes, we were like, what's going on? Is this the right show? Or is this all in her head? Or is she sleeping? We don't know.
Oh, I know. I thought maybe she was stuck in like a brain simulation or something. Like she's hooked up to some things, maybe. That's what I was
That's what we thought too. Yeah. So, yeah. And then later on, as it progresses, you start to see like, oh, this isn't right. Something's going off. And then you see like even the end credits. They're just like, oh no, they're watching a show. I go, wait, what?
No, I loved too when what's her name that plays Kitty on that 70s show? She's just smiling like, stop it. I'm like, this is some creepy stuff. I love it.
And like, so yeah, even they start to break. They're not their character, but they're starting to get out of the spell that they're under.
Yeah.
And then Wanda is controlling it all. It's revealed later on at the end that she is controlling everything. She made up the whole world or the whole town that they're in. Excuse me. And then she created Vision all over again.
Well, how much of it do you think she really controlled? Because like they try to make it seem like, oh, this was all an accident, but then I became aware. But like, do you believe that, or do you think she's just controlling it from the get-go?
I think she was controlling it from probably the get-go, just because the Scarlet Witch is that powerful. It's chaos magic. So, but she didn't know exactly how powerful she really was, not until later on, at the end of the episode, the final episode where she actually becomes the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
But just for her to actually create all that, and then still try to maintain everything within the spell and then the hex and everything. So it just shows you how powerful she really is, not until later on in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, but we'll get into that later. But
because yeah, like then you can kind of see her true colors of like, oh wait, maybe she was a bad bee the whole time.
I think the most weird, the most creepiest and probably the most damning piece of like, how she comes out of the hex and then she goes into the real world where all the agents are around her. And then she has the drone and she just throws at him. She goes, and then she tells him pretty much, just back the hell off. This is my world. I won't bother you if you don't bother me.
Yeah, that one was kind of a big tell of like, oh no, she knows what she's doing. She's trying to play damsel in distress. I had no idea, but no, she knows.
Yeah, and then Agatha, which she's a very powerful witch way back in the Salem days. Now that was cool. And then just a little quick side note, she is getting her own show.
I am so excited for that. Coven of Chaos, is it? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was House of Harkness.
Yeah, so I don't know why they changed it, but either way, it's still going to be a good show. So getting back into it, so one of my favorite actresses, Kat Dennings, So beautiful.
I love her.
So
I was so glad to see her back. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So ties the door.
I'm like, oh, I was excited because then she was the one, and I think it was the first episode at the end where she's writing in the notebook.
Writing the notebook, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay.
I was watching some channels and they were saying, oh, that's Kat Dennings. I'm like, how do these people know by a freaking hand in a book?
Exactly. I'm like, are you part of this?
I was like, oh, dang, okay. I'm glad they were right.
I just like how it breaks the fourth wall, and then Vision, and then everybody is just like, oh well, they're on set, and they're just like, oh, I basically this, I don't know why I'm here, but we're just doing this. And Vision is like, how did Vision come back?
Yeah. Oh my god. And then when they actually brought back the Vision with the freaking power, Wanda's like radiation power, basically, they brought him back with that. I was like, and then he flew off at the end. I'm like, where'd he go? Are they going to bring him back? Is he going to be part of Secret Wars? What's happening?
Yeah, and then finally, it's later on. I think it was last year, I believe, that they're actually doing Vision Quest. So that's going to be his own show. Probably be like 8-9 episodes. Maybe I think they're about like. Was it WandaVision like 45 minutes, close to an hour?
They were 45 minutes. Was it 45 minutes and 6 episodes, or was it 30 minutes and 9 episodes? I can't remember.
I honestly don't remember, but
we'll look at it later.
Either way,
I'll edit it in later.
WandaVision had 9 episodes ranging from 31 to 50 minutes each.
It was still good. The show, it leaves us questioning, like, oh god, because she undoes everything that at the end, the spell, everything. She gives them back their memories, so they're not the people of that town are not under her control. She flies off to who knows where, but then it was at the end credits where she's in a cottage, I believe, and then she's reading the Darkhold in her astral form, and then she's
awake, which is crazy because Doctor Strange says it, but he has to be asleep. So that's what's like, she's strong.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm just like, oh, so she is gonna come back, and she is gonna find a way to get her kids back at any means. So it was a good show. So because then it made me like, I already knew like Doctor Strange was gonna be a part of her. Doctor Strange is the only other person that can actually get into the astral form himself. So I'm like, okay, so they are going to meet up at some point. Either he's going to help her or she's going to help him or what have you. But then in Doctor Strange, she's pretty much fighting him and everybody else in the world.
Yeah, you see, she's really lost it. She has come unhinged.
But then there's another said that, the Darkhold, attracts a heavy toll, and it pretty much made her that way evil. So it's pretty interesting to see that. And going into the future movies, how is she going to be affected, or how is she gonna?
Do you think she's really dead? Because no. I don't think so. Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. Like, you can't kill the Scarlet Witch that easy with some rocks.
I'm like, really?
A mere rock.
He's an all-powerful being, dude. Like, I highly doubt it. Even Mario would even say she's not dead.
Yeah, I feel like she's off somewhere detoxing from the Darkhold. She's detoxing from all that darkness. She's like, okay, I'm just gonna zen myself and just become a better Scarlet Witch.
That's what even Mario, he would say, like, did you notice that at the end of Multiverse of Madness where the whole building is collapsing, the whole castle or whatever, and you see like a spark of like red energy? We're thinking that either she did it unconsciously, that her powers are preserving her, or they protected her and they just pretty much teleported her somewhere else.
No,
so,
I believe
we don't know.
I know. I believe like the protecting one too. I feel like it's just like kind of like a bubble that protected her, is energy to protect.
Because then, just a little quick side tangent. Doctor Strange is coming out next year, next year. So I think Doctor Strange 3.
Really? Next year?
Yeah, with Secret Wars, and then the Kang Dynasty with all that coming up in the next couple of years. They want to push. I think they want to push out as much Marvel movies as possible, so that way all of them could team up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the Fantastic Four might be coming out by next year.
Hey, if we are getting a Doctor Strange movie next year, I'm all for it. I freaking love Doctor Strange. And
it's funny because
like before when his first movie came out, I wasn't that interested for some reason because I didn't know too much about him. And I was like, meh. And then after all the craziness of like Infinity War, I was like, okay, I gotta catch up on a few of these movies I didn't watch. And I was like,
yeah.
Doctor Strange is freaking legit. I love him.
And then you know what's weird is like how on a technicality, you know, in Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's like, "Aren't you supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme?" But it turns out Wong is supposed to be. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, well, you were gone for 5 years. You blipped out. I go, oh yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is I remember after Infinity War, I remember Googling and searching who all got blipped, and Wong was among the people that they said were dusted. They said he was gone. And then, you know, and we don't hear from him at all until the end of Endgame 3. And so I was like, okay, it stands to reason he was gone, whatever. But then, like, after when Spider-Man came out and he says that, I was like, wait a minute. So Marvel's got to get on their consistencies here.
Well, because like you go on YouTube and you're like, oh, did you know that in, you know, Doctor Strange 2 made in, you know, all that kind of stuff. I started like, wait, is it true? Like, because they said, oh, Wong was still here, not dusted, like he was still here. I go, wait, I'm hearing two different things, so I don't know what's true.
Yeah. Go back and watch some of the older like breakdowns of these movies and stuff on YouTube, and you'll see them be like, "Oh yeah, among the dusted was blah 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 blah, blah Wong, blah 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 blah," you know. Yeah. And then later on, it's like, "Oh no, he was here all 5 years, just you know, doing his own Sorcerer Supreme stuff."
So I'm like, okay. So unfortunately, Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme, but it is, you know, it is revealed at the end of Doctor Strange 2 that Clea, which is the niece of Dormammu.
Yes.
That she comes and, you know, tells him that you created an incursion in the multiverse and that you need to fix it. So then she opens she opens a portal or like a gateway into the dark dimension, which is where Dormammu is. So I'm excited.
As soon as she cut that hole, I was like, I know this place. Yeah.
And then he just, you know, puts on his, you know, his uniform, and then his third eye opens up. And I'm like, that's kind of gross. In that moment, he controls the third eye. He controls the Darkhold. I don't know much about it, but other than the fact that, you know, he opens his third eye and then he's just like, oh, I'm not afraid in the slightest. And then they take off into the dark dimension, which goes into Doctor Strange 3. So even the Darkhold took a heavy toll even on Doctor Strange.
Yeah, for like the brief time he had it. Like Wanda, oh my God, she had it for, I think, a year. She had it for over a year. Oh, yeah, longer than a year. So, and he had it for like an hour. So he got a third eye from an hour, and she went crazy after years. Like, you got to think of how deep that really went with her.
But do you think that Wanda is capable of having the third eye? I really don't know, her being the Scarlet Witch and all, but do you think that she's capable of having it, or what do you think?
I feel like the Darkhold, it does to you what it needs to do to you. So like it's different for everyone. Like it affected Wanda much like Agatha. She got just kind of power hungry and this and that. Just wanted to fix everything. Kind of chaotic good with some evil sprinkled in there. And with Doctor Strange, I think he has a little more control, and that's why it didn't affect him super negatively. But we don't know what this third eye is going to do to him.
Exactly.
But I think it affects people differently. And I think in his case, he gets his third eye, you know, the all-seeing eye. He can see deeper into things now, I believe. Right. But we don't know if that's going to be a good or bad thing yet.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, him, Clea, you know, Dormammu again.
Yeah. So Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Oh, seriously, I just want a quick joke about that. You know, if he, you know, sees Dormammu again and he goes, you again? And he goes, you want to bargain? But he doesn't have the time stone anymore.
He's
so like, oh, you're dead anyway.
How long do you think they were stuck in that loop?
Jeez, hard to say. Because they're in a different universe. Time moves differently in that universe. So
I know.
He could have been stuck there for years, maybe. No, months, maybe. Who knows?
I know. Who knows? How many different ways did he die in that loop?
Probably millions of ways to die, probably.
Then Dormammu was like, wait, I've got a bad case of deja vu.
Exactly. So I'm like, huh. But I don't know. And then going into another show that we want to talk about, Loki.
Yeah, I love it. Look at, hold on.
I like that. That's sick.
For all time, always.
And Now, for you, Noel, like when you heard about Loki having his own series, like what did you think about it going into it?
Okay, well, I've always loved Loki. I mean, you gotta love a bad guy. You gotta love a bad boy.
Yeah.
No, I've always loved Loki just because he's different. I like different. He's a bad guy, but he's not all bad, you know? I love the anti-hero. And so when I heard Loki was getting a show, I was like, what? What's it gonna, how? He's dead. And then they dropped the hint that, oh, it's gonna be the Loki that grabbed the Tesseract and teleported away. And I was like, okay, well, what are they gonna do with that? Because they already fixed everything. And I had to do some research because I had never heard of the TVA or anything before this. So I read a couple comics. I watched a bunch of videos on it. And so I don't know. I was just so excited when I heard, oh, he's going to be him basically jumping throughout time. And I was like,
when you were, so when you were going through all that, the comic books and stuff like that. So what did you find out as far as like the TVA and all this stuff?
This show was loosely based on Agents of Asgard. And the TVA, I learned, like, in the comics, it is the Time Lords, the three lizard people that he calls them. They are the ones that run the TVA. So they took their liberties on making it Kang, but it is them. But oh wow, what's her name? The judge? I can't remember her name right now. She, her and Kang have a relationship. That's one of the things I learned. They have a relationship, and that's why she's kind of like the head of the TVA right now. He puts her in charge. I don't know if they're going to explore that relationship in season 2. They kind of touched on it a little bit when she kind of, recognizes the name and stuff, but she doesn't say anything. She's like very hush. But yeah, they have a relationship in that. Mobius is in the TVA and the comic books as well. And I'm so glad it's Owen Wilson. I love him.
Wow.
I was waiting. I wanted a wow. I didn't get our wow.
I know. I was like, hopefully season 2. I mean, come on. It's a well-known thing he does. So
I know he's trying to live it down, but he needs to just drop a wow. Just wow, Loki, wow.
And then I'm like, finally in Marvel. So
I know, right? We don't have to watch this anymore. We're done with Marvel. He said, "Wow, we're done."
And wow, I'm good. I'm done. And it's only the first episode.
I know he says it like first 20 minutes of the first episode. Wow, cut credits.
Wow. But I think one of the scenes that really got me not confused but a little upset was that when he was going through the desk of one of the people that worked for the TVA, the Infinity Stones. Now there was, I don't know, 4 time stones, like 3 soul stones and whatnot. So in my when I first saw it, I go, so what? The quest for the stones were for nothing.
Well, like that scene was really meant to show you that phase 4 is going far beyond anything we've seen. Because the big bad for our timeline in the MCU, the stones really affected it. But this just goes to show you that there's an even bigger threat out there. Like Thanos was bad, but there's bigger bads, and that in the grand scheme of things, the time stones mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're jumping from timeline to timeline, they mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just basically meant to show you the significance of what phase 4 really means.
Yeah. So, and then, even a few people that I've talked to, even at work, and then, some at work, they even said the same thing. They go, so what? That was all for nothing? So people died in Infinity War for nothing? I go, well, like how you said it right now, it leads to a bigger thing. So, of course, is the bigger thing Kang? Is the bigger thing Doctor Doom? We honestly don't know. For all we know, it could be Galactus. Exactly.
Yeah, same thing.
So, and that's what we're hoping for. The biggest, baddest person, or being, and that, no, I'm the most powerful being in the whole universe, and I can just swipe you away with just a flick of my finger or whatever. That's what I'm hoping for in the future for Marvel. But just that scene alone, I'm just like, what the hell's wow. Natasha Romanoff, she died for, the sacrifice, but I'm like, was her sacrifice necessary?
It was necessary for our main timeline. The one we are watching right now, all of that was necessary. It was.
Okay.
Now, had we been following the timeline that we saw in Multiverse of Madness, the one where they ended up in with the Illuminati, totally different. That means nothing to them. They fought their war. They beat Thanos. They're done. But to us, it means a lot.
And I think John, because we know John at work.
We know John.
He's a big comic book nerd, so he'll correct me on this later on. But I'm just saying, are there different versions of the Illuminati rather than the ones that we saw? There has to be different versions.
So, from what I've read and seen, different universes do have their own Illuminati, but I think there is one main Illuminati that takes from different universe timelines.
Right.
I think that's what I read anyway. Again, John can correct us, but I believe there is a main big Illuminati, kind of like the Council of Kings, where they all get together. There's a main Illuminati with an Xavier from the X-Men we know, and then there's an Iron Man from the universe we know, a Deadpool, well, not Deadpool, but a Captain America from another universe, from another timeline. So I think there is one big major one, but I do believe that some timelines have their own Illuminati with their own people from their timeline.
Do you think the ones that we saw in Multiverse of Madness, do you think that is the main one, or do you believe it's a different branch of them, in your opinion?
I don't think it's the main one. I think it was just their timeline's version of it, because they had their own set of, what happened with Thanos. Like, why would all of the other Illuminati members from different timelines come together to save that one timeline? Because they would have done that for us.
Right, that's true.
We were left hanging. So I think that was just theirs, and either Thanos was just weaker in that timeline, or the Avengers were just OP in that timeline and more prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
So it made me like want, because there are a few members that were on the Illuminati in the movie that were in the comic books that are different. I believe one of them was, John's really gonna correct me on this one. I think one of them had to be Blade. I think, because I know Blade, Ghost Rider, and a few of are in the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, but they have their own little group.
Yeah, they have their own. But I was just like wondering, Doctor Strange, not Mordo, but I know Doctor Strange was part of the Illuminati. Iron Man was part of the Illuminati, and Black Bolt was.
Captain Carter was not part of the Illuminati.
Any
of the comics. They just added that in place of Captain America, and because her character was so cool. And what if we had to see a live action Peggy Carter as Captain Carter?
Yeah, so going into that was pretty cool to see, and like, oh, cool, the Illuminati, and even in going back, obviously our main topic was Loki right now. We're just sorry, but
deviated.
But even towards like the end, where this whole quest is to find He Who Remains, him and Sylvie, which is his variant, obviously, and then she is just hell bent on just finding He Who Remains, killing him for what he's done. But that something, when we were as the episodes progressed, we were like wondering, okay, something bad's gonna happen if she does kill him. In the back of my mind, I knew something bad was gonna happen.
I feel like
then it's revealed that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. I'll finish.
And then this whole quest, they're finally there. They're at the doorway of He Who Remains, and then this elevator opens up, and it's Kang, but we didn't know who it was because, like, okay, who's this guy? I didn't know Jonathan Majors at the time. I'm like, okay, who's he? And then he just reveals, oh, I've been called many names, a king, a conqueror. And I go, okay, he just confirmed as Kang.
See, for me, I knew beforehand that Jonathan Majors was playing Kang.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be in the elevator. Like, I was hoping that I was like, I'm not gonna do that in a freaking Disney Plus show. I was thinking it was gonna be like another old Loki or something. It's like, oh, the most the best punchline. He's the one at the end of time,
That'd be weird though if it was him.
I know, but I was just thinking this could go anywhere. But I was hoping it'd be Jonathan Majors, but I wasn't sure. And the moment that elevator opened, I was like, "It's Kang!"
But then, as you was talking about the multiversal war, and then as Loki and Sylvie are just like, wow, that actually happened, real quick. Spoilers for Ant-Man Quantumania. Do you think we have to wait on it?
That's fine, yes. I'm going to put spoilers on everything, so.
Spoilers!
It is in that scene at the end credits. That's
Timely.
Nathaniel Richards. He is the
Yeah.
scientist. So I'm like, okay, so
Victor
even
Timely?
even that was revealed in Loki, that was Nathaniel Richards, the scientist. So I'm excited, to see more of that. I just want Kang to say, "Oh, this is my different variant, Nathaniel Richards," which is a descendant from Mr. Fantastic, from
Reed
the
Richards,
Fantastic
like
Four,
great,
Reed
great, great,
Richards.
great, 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 great grandson.
So I'm just like, damn, if they reveal that, and then let's say Reed Richards goes, in a future movie, oh, he's like, we know each other, don't we? He's like, oh, I believe we do, or something like that.
But the version we saw in at the end of Quantumania, Victor Timely, he is a version of King that was kind of like, he fought against the Kings and then was exiled, and he's still kind of on his quest to take over the world. So, but he was exiled in the early 1900s. He's basically like Nikolai Tesla. He just does these major like futuristic inventions and stuff. And like I was reading, that's a direct scene from Loki season 2.
Right.
So, and I'm like, and you already see that he's found his normal Mobius. So it's not even like the weird one that's like, who are you? So like,
even at the last 5 minutes of the last ending episode, Sylvie pushes him into that doorway. He goes into to the TVA, but he knows that things are different. And then you just see a big statue of Kang the Conqueror. I go, what the hell just happened? And then
I know
it's a different alternate universe, because as the multiverse was breaking from either one, from Doctor Strange creating the spell from No Way Home, and then it's the universe was cracking. So obviously there's different tangents in the multiverse that is tearing. So that leads into why it's now called obviously the multiverse saga.
Well, what I'm wondering about is, okay, so He Who Remains' main thing was to keep the timeline straight, not all crooked and branched out, so that no other kings are formed. So I'm wondering, in this new timeline that branched out that he got pushed into, what was that king doing with the TVA? Because why would he want it to do? I think the other kings want chaos. So I'm like, they're looking at the time thing. They're like, well, what does he want us to do? Just let it branch out and go crazy? I'm like, was that not what he was doing before? Like, what was this timeline before Loki got pushed into it? Like,
because someone else was saying that the Kang that's in Quantumania, saying that what he was doing was justified. That because why everything's going into chaos, he's trying to correct it. But then, I don't know.
I feel like out of the kings, I feel like He Who Remains was the most honest king that we came across so far. And it was true. It's like, if you kill me, my variants are coming. And if you don't kill me, I'm still going to go, but you guys can take over. And I feel like Sylvie pulled a Chris Pratt and just killed him out of anger, just like Chris Pratt did with Thanos. But the king we see in Quantumania, he's bad, like he bad. But I feel like, again, he was one of the better kings.
Yeah, and then even seeing Kang in Quantumania, I'm like, okay, he's clearly wanting to just rule everything. But then
he's conqueror.
Yeah, he's the conqueror. But even He Who Remains, he's technically the nice guy. He's just like, oh, I'm telling you, like you said, I'm telling you straight out the way it is. You kill me, my evil variants are coming for you, and they're gonna pretty much take everything. But like you said, when you don't kill me, you just take over. I'm like, there's a part of us that would have been like, just dude, don't, because you're gonna cause a big thing that's gonna lead to a lot of deaths. You're just thinking in the now. You're not thinking ahead. And then right when she killed him, you just you hear the I think in the background you can hear like cracks in the multiverse.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you hear. Yeah.
I'm excited as far as to see more of Kang. To be honest, I mean,
Jonathan Majors is such a good actor. Like, I'm sad to say I didn't know who he was before all this.
Right.
Holy cow. Because we've already seen him in depth play He Who Remains, who is like basically an eccentric old man, but in a young person's body, like has lived forever and ever and ever. So he's kind of a little not all there together, but still at the same time is all there together. And then we see him play the Conqueror, which is like, he's got some moments where I'm just kind of like, I'm shaking in my boots. Like, what's happening? He's kind of scary. And then at the end, we see all these different kings and how different they all are. And like, he is such a good actor. Holy cow. They got a good guy.
But there was one that me and Mario saw, and he's like screaming, oh!
I know what you're talking about.
I think that's the scroll version of Kang. So I go, all right, cool.
Yeah, there's a scroll version. There's another alien type version too. There's just so many kings. So I'm like, why is there a scroll king? Okay, whatever. It can be anything in any universe.
So like even the Council of Kangs, they're gonna come obviously either in I don't think Secret Invasion, but I know Kang Dynasty. I think they're all gonna show up again.
Do you think we're gonna get how many kings do you think we're gonna come across in Loki season 2? Because if we've already seen Victor Timely, like, is that the first one, or is Loki gonna come across a few of them? Because he seemed terrified to see Victor Timely when Mobius was like, he seems fine. He's like, he's terrifying or whatever. Like, had Loki solo seen a different king before that? Because I wouldn't be afraid of He Who Remains. He Remains was kind of weird, but I wouldn't be like, he's terrifying. Like, how many kings do you think Loki came across?
My theory is that Loki came across one variant of King that was truly terrifying, that pretty much put the fear into him, saying that, I'm going to take everything away from you. He's like, you think that you stopped us? He goes, no. He's like, you have no idea what's coming your way. And so it frightened him that much that when he saw Victor Timely, he's like, no. And you see it in his face. He's like, no, that's him.
Yeah, no,
and then he's like, and then Owen Wilson's like, what are you talking about? He's like, he doesn't look that bad to me. Wow. And then just the look of fear on Loki's face. I'm like, dude, season 2 is going to be just epic. It's going to be a roller coaster of, okay, what's going to happen next, and that's kind of what sucks about, the only, I understand because of spoiler alerts, releasing one episode, but I'm like, I just want to binge watch the whole season because I just want to watch it.
I mean, I appreciate Disney keeping the whole, you gotta tune in type setting.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, Netflix has spoiled us with like, here's a whole season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
That. And so we get this and it's like, more. They're nice sometimes and put out 2 episodes.
Loki season 2, they've been filming. It's going to release this year, right?
Oh yeah, I already saw some pictures of Sylvie wearing like an old McDonald's outfit from the 70s and stuff. Like,
right.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of set photos that have been leaked, so they've been going at it for a while. I think it's coming out this summer.
But just real quick, we are going to get into more Disney Plus shows, guys, later on down the road. This was a quick little episode that we wanted to do. We were talking about it for 20 minutes before we started the podcast.
Yeah. In the group chat.
And for like I said, Mario couldn't be here today, so he's doing his own thing right now. He's busy with home stuff.
He has a life.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I wonder what that's like. But no, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is obviously fun, Noelle, because finally you're in an episode.
I know. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
And then, guys, we are going to do a segment for Noelle. It's called Fun Facts with Noelle. So, guys, stay tuned for that in next episode. And that was in season 4.
In season 4.
In season 4, we're going to do that. No, in episode 4, we are going to do Fun Facts with Noelle, and then we're going to have a little segment for Mario, and then of course Spooky Time with me, Stephen G. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us. And Noelle, what is your Instagram handle and everything? All your social medias. Plug yourself. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm only gonna do Instagram and TikTok. So Instagram is Noelle Veronica. I'll put it at the end. And TikTok is Noelle from Summer.
Nice. And of course you guys and you guys know me, Steve, Steven, Super Steve 94 on Instagram, and then Steven N. Garcia on Facebook, and then Steven Garcia on TikTok. So guys, go follow us. The plugs will be
at the end, I promise.
Oh yeah, guys, don't worry about it. Our editor-in-chief is good at that. She'll do it for us. But guys, thank you again for listening. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, you guys stay super out there.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Thank you for joining us at MCG Labs. We hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.